Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to announce that the Board of Education and the United Teachers of Wichita have reached a tentative agreement for the 2017-18 year. While we recognize we can't fix 8 years of budget cuts and the inadequate compensation in 1 year, this tentative agreement honors the board's desire to give our teachers an additional compensation and honors the essential role of our teachers play in the success of our students. This tentative agreement is subject to teacher ratification and Board of Education approval. I'm pleased to introduce at this time Dr. Alicia Thompson to share the details of this agreement.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to just give a few highlights of the tentative agreement as subject to ratification by the teachers and the Board of Education approval. The highlights are as follows. The base salary increase is 3.95%. One step for all teachers who are eligible to advance. One additional step for those teachers who are behind on the step schedule. Tracks, which honors additional education. Longevity payments for veteran teachers unfrozen. Considering all forms of compensation, more than half of our district teachers will see their compensation increase by more than 8%. This tentative agreement also includes a return to the previous 190-day calendar, which would shorten the school day by 30 minutes and return the school's start times to the top of the hour. We knew that when we made the decision 2 years ago as a cost-cutting measure to lengthen the school day and shorten the school year, it was not a long-term solution or ideal for students, but it was necessary for budgetary reasons. And we've heard from our listening sessions that the days are too long for students, especially in our elementary, and we've heard that from staff as well. Next year's start and end dates will be determined by the district's calendar committee later this school year. And I am beyond pleased that this agreement gives us 15 additional school days of student learning, which teachers, parents, and students have told us that it is very important. While we are pleased that we are able to provide additional compensation to our teachers, this tentative agreement came with some sacrifices. Technology investments will be impacted, and our social emotional character development initiative will not have the funds needed to fully implement this year. As difficult as these sacrifices are, we reflected on the board's #1 priority, and that was to recruit and retain of staff through compensation. And we believe it is most appropriate to make this recommendation this year. I look forward to continuing the great work that we've started with our teachers, students, and families this year. And before we all move on, it's time for us to all move on and continue the work. And I'm pleased at this time to be able to answer any questions that you all may have.
When will this all start taking place, once ratified?
It will all start when the teachers ratify the contract, so we'll wait for the union to give that vote to their teachers. Once that vote is made with the teachers, then it comes to the Board of Education. We'll take the timing there. Once they finish, we can, if it's before another board meeting, we'll call a board meeting, for people, our board members to come in and to vote on the contract. So as soon as the teachers ratify, we'll move very quickly to approve the contract.
Could you provide more details about what you mean by the social emotional program not getting the funds it needs? What is that going to mean?
Yes, we actually have been working this school term to create a continuum of services for students from all levels. As we've done that on the academic side of the house. And so we have in place positions that would cause us to be able to build trauma teams, to be able to support teachers as well as students in our buildings where there are PBS programs and some of the other school settings. We would be able to provide some additional support there.
So that's not going to happen?
We are going to be looking at what we can do with the remaining funds but we will not have the robust system that we had anticipated.
So what's the comparison? I mean, what are you gonna spend on social emotional programs now versus before this comes?
That is where we're going to have to revamp. We have to get some time. We just made the agreement today, and we'll have to go back and look to see what impact that's going to have on our original plan.
What's the total price tag on this plan?
We do not have the numbers at this time because we do not have the numbers at this time.
What technology are we going to have to do away with or not get this year because of this agreement?
That, again, will be determined of how much we're going to have to pull back to be able, so we do not have an accurate number or answer at this point.
Okay, so this agreement is tentative based on ratification by the teachers. Have you heard anything or know of anything that might obstruct that, or any reason the teachers might not ratify this?
None that I know of.
And just those two areas, the technology and then the social emotional initiative, are those just the only two areas that you think will be affected at this point?
At this point, that's where we see our anticipated reduction of spending, but that does not mean that there will be other areas that we would need to look into.
When will you have those numbers?
As soon as we have the opportunity to, again,
Before the ratification vote?
maybe, maybe not sure. I mean, the reason why I say that, Suzanne, is not to be flippant. It's because we have to go back as a team and replan. I mean, the board gave us a directive of priorities, and they asked us to plan, and we did, and we budgeted to that plan. Now the plan has been altered. The board has asked us to alter the plans, so it did take us 2 days to create it, so we've got to go back and give us a little bit of time to readjust. So it's not, I'm not trying to be flippant, I'm just,
No, I'm just
yeah,
saying, I mean, the
yeah.
budget's been passed, I mean, the numbers are there, I'm just wondering.
Oh, I don't have any numbers. I don't have
Suzanne,
numbers.
maybe to help answer
Yeah.
that question, once they get their thoughts, they'll bring them to us,
Yeah.
and we'll see how it goes into our plan and make decisions on, do we want to make further changes in our current structure or where we want to go. So right now, she's kind of sitting in the dark because she's got to wait for us to have a board meeting to go through all that again and decide where we want to go next, so.
When it comes to the shorter school days and the longer school year, talk about how that's going to impact. I know that a lot of parents were involved and teachers involved in talking about the difficulties of what they're dealing with now. Talk about the excitedness. Are you guys excited to get that back to where it was?
Well, we actually, in the spring, there was a survey that was sent out, and we had 14,000 parents who weighed in on that. And I think you guys have done many reports on that. And it was overwhelmingly that this was not something that our families and our community was pleased with. We have also then, on the other hand, had conversations with teachers in the spring as well, whom also shared some displeasure for that particular calendar. Forward to this fall, as we've been out in our listening sessions, that theme has resonated again with our families and our parents and our teachers, that the calendar again was not pleased. They're not pleased with the particular calendar. That's how we gathered our data and our information to know that this was a concern.
On that calendar, I understand that you're going to plan to keep the extended winter break. Is that right?
That was
The new calendar?
the agreement that was
And the
made.
recess?
Yes, ma'am.
How will that work? Does that mean school will start earlier than usual?
We'll go back to the top of the hour.
No, I meant the academic calendar, the days.
There is a calendar team that will get together and work that out, so not sure exactly where those days will land. So, and once the calendar committee meets, they'll be able to give that, share that calendar out with everyone. Mhm.
So there is the Christmas break that's in place now is longer
Yes.
than it used to be?
Yes.
And that will remain? Or that's what?
That is exactly what was agreed upon, yes.
As far as early childhood education, special ed, after-school programs, how will this calendar impact those things?
Again, once the calendar committee meets, then the district begins to move. So we won't really know all of the specific details, but what you can anticipate is that the calendar will be 190, and the day will be shortened by 30 minutes. So then, of course, I'm sure that all of the activities and things will follow in suit from there.
How has this school district fared compared to others, you know, with the teacher pay? And then how do you hope that now with this raise, it'll put you guys in to compete with other districts to keep
Okay.
teaching?
Yeah, that's a great question. What we do know is that with our increase to the base, we are now very much competitive with the surrounding areas as one of the, either in our area, either one or two in the top, one or two. Not sure what everyone is, but we've always kind of been up at the top according to the information that I have. So we are very competitive. And as far as our teachers that are in, I think we are very much in the race with the other school districts as it relates to the amount of compensation that our teachers received in this particular contract, just not the new teachers or starting salary, but all of the teachers.
Do you feel like you lost teachers because of the calendar?
I do not have data to say that. So wouldn't be fair for me to make an assumption, but I have no data at this point to say that.
But you're saying it affected retention and recruitment, so.
If you're asking me what my thoughts are,
Yeah.
I don't have any data in front of me, but my gut tells me that we did lose teachers because of the calendar. They shared with us it's very difficult for teachers to work all day and get off of work at 4. The students leave at 4:40. They're getting home 5:30, 6 o'clock. They're not able to take care of their families, to feed them and, get them to activities and things of that nature. And that was a very, very, very much a hardship on a lot of teachers. And they have definitely told us so. But to give you numbers, I don't have, but I do have stories of many teachers who shared the concern about the lateness of the day and the length of the day and how tired they were all day working from that early, and that additional 30 minutes was very not good for teachers or students, because we've shortened that day 15 days. That's 15 less days that students had for learning, and I am sure that if we continue in that would begin to impact it. I don't know if it has, but I'm sure at some point 15 less days would impact your ability to keep student achievement where it needs to be.
Anything else you'd like to add?
I just want to let the teachers know that we value and appreciate all that they have done, and congratulations to them to be able to have some additional compensation to be able to continue to be of appreciation and value for what they do.